Hi everyone, this is Avni here from Unique Consulting Group, Toronto, Canada, providing Canadian immigration services and citizenship services to applicants from all around the world as well as those who are present in Canada. Today, we are going to discuss regarding study permit refusals, the reasons for the refusals of study permit, as well as the tips on how you can take care before you submit your application to make sure that your study permit refusals are avoided. There are a few things that you have to remember before you start your study permit application. When somebody wants to come to Canada for a study permit, the first and foremost thing they have to take care is the choice of school. So while discussing refusal of study permits and the tips to avoid the refusals, what steps should be taken? Number one is choice of your program. The program that you want to study in Canada has to be in line with the program that you have studied before, or your qualifications, your education that you have had in your home country. It has to be in line with that, otherwise there is a chance of refusal. What do I mean by that? Is if you have studied some field of finance and if you are coming here to study something like videography, unless and until you can explain that that was your hobby or that was something that is in line with what you have studied before and it will give you a better job prospect, it's not going to fly. So what are you supposed to do? If you have studied something in IT and if you are coming to Canada to study a diploma program in IT, if you have a bachelor's from before or grade 12 or a master degree, and if you are coming to select with a program of studying something that enhances your career in IT, and then when you return back home, you will get a better job prospect. That's where the choice of program comes in. So make sure you have a choice of program that is in line with the course of study that you have studied before, that already you possess. Coming to that, if you have a bachelor's degree and you are coming here for a master program, you're fine. If you're coming for a diploma program also, you're fine. But if you have a master degree and if you're coming here to study a diploma program, then make sure that you have your proper research done regarding the program that is going to help you to enhance your career when you return back home. You must be wondering why I am saying you will return back home when most of the students who come here want to come and stay here permanently. Yes, you're right. Everybody wants to come and stay permanently over here, but the intent to go back is very important. That's why when you receive a refusal letter, the first thing that the officer has written or mentioned on the letter is, I am not satisfied that this person will leave Canada at the end of their authorized stay based on dash dash dash. So that is the reason. There is an intent. That intent is very important. Your intention to return to your home country is the most important thing that the officer is searching for. They already know that there is a dual intent underlying, but you have to prove your intention of going back just in case your permanent residence pathway is not secure, or maybe when you apply for PR or for any other extensions and you are refused, then what would be your step? Would you return to your home country or would want to stay illegally in the country? That's where the officer is checking your bona fides. So you have to make sure that whatever you are putting in your application, your intention has to be very clear that you will return back if you are not granted an extension or you are not granted a permanent residence. So basically that is your intention to go back to your home country. And if you are coming here to study and then returning back to your home country, how is this program going to help you? So your SOP has to be very strong. Your SOP has to be self-explanatory, which will tell the officer when he or she reads your SOP, your statement of purpose, what is your program that you are coming here to study, how is it going to affect your career, and what are your job prospects when you go back to your home country. So currently, what is your job that you are doing, or what are the studies that you are performing, and what have you achieved as your qualification, as well as what will you gain from studying this program. Another thing to remember is program in Canada is expensive. So officer wants to see if there is a cheaper option available to you in your home country. So the expense of the program, although it is something immaterial, because if you are coming out of your country and coming to Canada to study, you know it is going to be an expensive process. But immigration officer wants to see if you will be able to afford that, as well as whether this program that you are coming to study has a cheaper option back home. If there is a cheaper option available, then you will have to make sure that in your SOP you mention why you are avoiding that cheaper option and why you are opting to come to Canada. So this is something that you should take care, should research. Another thing, you need to study the program, or your choice of program should be at a DLI. What does that mean? It's a designated learning institution. So on canada.ca, you will find all the designated learning institution list that are available in Canada, where you can choose your college or university, and you can select the one that is a DLI. So you have a choice of option to apply for a postgraduate work permit after you complete your program. Also, studying at a DLI will allow you to apply through Student Direct Stream if you are from the selected countries like India, China, and other countries that are on the list. You will find that you can come here through the Student Direct Stream. That is also helpful for you if you meet other eligibility criteria. Coming to study at a DLI also has two parts. One is a private DLI and another is a public DLI. If you come and study at a private DLI, you will not be able to get a PG work permit. So make sure when you come here, you check your institution. This onus is on you to check. It is your duty to check. It is your future. So do not ever just listen to your agent who is giving you the study permit option or who is helping you with the admission. Make sure that you research yourself and find out if that DLI is a public DLI. If it's a public DLI institution, it is going to be eligible for a PG work permit later on. Length of study. When you are talking about the length of study, you need to make sure that either you come for a 1-year program or a 2-year program or a 3-year program. If you're coming after grade 12, I suggest, it's my suggestion, you should try and come for a 2-year or a 3-year program. 3-year is always better because it will help you with your PR option later on in when you are looking for a PR. But otherwise, you should always come for a 2-year option. Do not try to come for a 1-year course. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. If you come here for a 1-year course and then you try to get your PG work permit, you will be in problem. So if you even come here for a 1-year program, you will have to study another 1 year more so that you have an option of 3 years of work permit. With 1-year course, you will have only 1 year of work permit granted. So the postgraduate work permit, you will have to come here for, you will have to study at least minimum 2 years in order for you to get 3 years of work permit. And when the 3 years of work permit come in, that's when you have more time to look for a job in the NOC 0A or B category and be eligible under the Canadian Experience class. So I have explained to you about the choice of your program. I have explained to you about the length of your program. I have explained to you about your SOP, which has to be detailed. Why Canada? Why that program? What is it that is in line with that program? As well as why you are not selecting a program of that same kind in your country, but you want to come and select it in Canada and you want to come and study in Canada. Another part is your funds. You need to make sure that if you are coming under SDS, you will have to have a GIC of $10,000 with a Scotiabank or ICICI Bank or any other bank that is in your country that is listed on the CIC website. So that is one important thing that you will have to have. If you are coming under a non-SDS program, then you will also have to show the proof of funds in your account, or if your parents or somebody is helping you for your financial needs, you will need to make an affidavit, or you will need to make a chartered accountant report from an authorized person so that you can put that document with your application and show the proof of funds. If you are putting a chartered accountant report along with your parents' affidavit saying that they are going to support you for the application, then make sure that you are also putting in the supporting documents of the funds. That is one thing very important. And now coming to the IELTS, the most important English test. The English test result has to be either academic or general. General is also allowed these days. But if you are giving your IELTS result, make sure you get a 6.0 in all the 4 aspects: read, write, speak and listen. And then you will be eligible under the SDS category if you are from the designated country. If not, then you will be under the non-SDS stream. But getting that minimum CLB 7 or 6 in all the aspects of English at least gives the immigration officer a confidence that you will be able to successfully complete your program in Canada if you are opting that program. So if you are coming here to study a program which requires English as a major language, then obviously you need to show that you have the skills to study that. And for that, IELTS is the method. So when you are giving your result, if in case you get a 5.5 in one of them, maybe you will get admission in the college. But try and see that if you can apply again for another English test and prove your motivation that you have at least tried a second time and you are opting to get a better result in English. So you will at least satisfy the officer that you are motivated to come and study here and successfully complete the program of your choice, as well as assimilate in the Canadian market and assimilate in the Canadian society well, because as you know, English is an official language, one of the official languages of Canada besides French. So if you know English, only then you can easily assimilate in the country as students when you are coming here. So that is what is expected for the study permit. If you are refused for any purpose and if you have any queries, feel free to give us a call or contact us. We can always help you with understanding the refusal and checking out whether reconsideration is an option for you or new application is an option for you. So if we are talking of reconsideration is something where if we see that you have provided all the documents and information that was required by CIC for the application and yet your application was refused, then we can write for a reconsideration to the immigration officer and to the higher authorities and try and see if we can get your case reopened and reassessed. If there are slim chances of that, you can always apply a fresh application, and you can always submit a new application, and with that application at least you need to prepare properly. So we need to make sure that the documents and information that are going with the second application are properly done. To do your application, make sure that you go to an ICCRC member or an authorized representative. Do not let somebody who doesn't know immigration laws do your application. The reason why? Because your history always remains with immigration. One time whatever you write will always stay lifelong with your name, your date of birth and your client ID. So make sure you give the history correct in the first place and not get into any misrepresentation issues. Now, when I say misrepresentation, that will be our next video where I will explain to you how you can avoid misrepresentations. So long, take care, stay safe. We will all get through this COVID, and make sure that whenever you are doing an application, you do it properly. Take time before you submit your application, review it well, and take care of all the points that I have mentioned here. Feel free to give us a call at 416-292-4559 or contact us at our email address avni@uniquecg.com. Visit our website at www.uniquecg.com. That is uniquecg.com. Please do not forget to subscribe our channel and press that like button as well as the bell icon so you can get notifications for our new videos that are coming soon. Bye. Thank you.